We're like, hello everybody, how are you? Let me just straighten it up a little bit there. What a day. What a day. Now those of you that are in early enough, who's in? Who is in? Who's in, Michelle?
Sally's in and
Sally's in. Mario Cat is in. Oh, I should try and, let me try and get my comments up as well so I can see them. Just be patient with me a moment. I should have done that before. And I should have done that before I started chatting to you, but I didn't. I didn't think it through. G'day, everybody.
Jasper Jones is in. Hi.
Jasper Jones, hello, mate. Bit of a strange day today.
Paul Webber's in. Hi, Paul.
G'day, Paul. How are you, mate? I've just got to open up my thing. So I went. Michelle said I'd forget my head if it was screwed on. I went down to the baker's just now to get a simmet, but I don't know where I put it. We've looked all over the place. It's ridiculous.
Chris says, nice outfit.
It's ridiculous.
Margie says hi. Hi, Margie.
G'day, Margie. I got a simmet from downstairs, Margie, but I don't know where I put it. I don't know which bag they put it in. I know, but we are going crazy. Let me just pop out chat so I can see what everybody is up to.
You got there?
I am there. So Margie's in, Chris is in, Noof is in, Jasper is in.
Mario Cat said, in Ramadan, they used to play drums to wake up in the middle of the night. Did they do that this Ramadan too?
Yeah, they did that this Ramadan. It wasn't really the middle of the night. Well, it was the middle of the night. It was ridiculous o'clock in the morning, banging the drum. I've got myself, probably controversially, not a, although somebody did say to me there is a Tuborg beer that is from here. Now, by the way, today I am going to talk about the topic. I'm going to try and keep on topic for at least 30 minutes, and then we will, it is still curfew. It is still curfew. So I want to talk about the pitfalls of daily vlogging.
Margie wants to know where you got that simmet from.
What simmet? I can't find it, Margie. I've looked all over the place. Michelle says I must have left it downstairs.
Arthur says hello from Pennsylvania.
G'day, Arthur. How are you, mate?
Arthur Larson.
Arthur Larson from Pennsylvania. That sounds a very Norwegian name. Swedish, maybe, possibly. Scandinavian family background, I would think, Arthur.
And Sally says she was just watching the Spaceship Endeavour and the Space Station meetup. Really cool.
Really? I didn't even know it was happening. Goes to show, doesn't it? So we've got Tuborg 100% malt beer tonight. We're going to have. We've also got 3 delicious desserts. I've been down to while I was down in the bakery. I've got some really nice desserts as well. I've got a chocolate brownie and 2 other desserts, which I'm going to have as a little treat for myself for being such a good boy.
So Nate Morlock says greetings from Portland.
Jasper, you can't hear very well. I suspect, man, it's your hearing be on your side, because rarely, I mean, this is the same setup I always use. Just check with everybody. Testing, 1, 2, 3. The sound is good.
So Nate says greetings from Portland, Oregon.
G'day, Nate. How are you, mate? Oregon. I got into trouble for calling it Oregon.
Oregon, as we say.
They said you don't pronounce it that way. You got to say Oregon.
So Arthur says Norwegian. Larsen is Norwegian. Larsson is Swedish.
There you go, mate. I see. I was spot on. So
Hi, Rena.
I'll give it a few moments for some people to come in. Then I'll talk about. I really want to discuss fairly earnestly about some of the problems. Now, these are points. These are from Michelle and I's point of view. It's not. It doesn't reflect all people that are daily vlogging, but it's from our point of view, some of the issues that we've had.
Wendy wants to know, is that a bread necklace?
What? What are you on about, Wendy?
Jasper says he can hear better now.
Wendy, I haven't got a clue what you're on about. You must be. This is actually gold. This I got this many years ago. This is 18 karat gold. So if you ever see me, you can nick it off my neck. It's worth a few pounds. You know that we've promised you to do. Here he goes, backing down on his promises already. I promised that we would do daily vlogging. We're going to continue for a little while, but there's some issues. Now I've been around the block a few times. I know a lot of YouTubers. I've been to a few VidCons and some are in the city events, and I know many of my friends who we've daily vlogged before back in the early days, and a lot of my friends who daily vlog. They work really hard, but generally a lot of them are doing it retrospectively. It's easier to do. It's always disappointing for people to find out if you're daily vlogging and they say, oh, how is it in South Africa? You know, and you sort of say, well, actually, I'm not in South Africa. I'm in Toronto. That was 6 months ago. And that's where I think a lot of YouTubers find it hard to get that disconnect, because you can't, if you're daily vlogging, generally what people do is they produce several videos at least ahead of time before they even start daily vlogging, and Michelle and I started straight off the bat. So what we're finding, and we're struggling, because for me filming these videos takes a good chunk of the day. We say from morning till late afternoon we're creating these videos. So say if you spend eight hours, several hours a day filming and producing the videos, I've then got to transfer all that stuff over into my computers. I've got to have some downtime and I've got to start editing. So if I don't edit straight away, I'm still editing the following day, and then what I'm having to do then is render it off and upload it in our ridiculously slow internet. That can take another 8 hours. Now there's only 3 sets of 8 hours in a day. So what we're finding is I'll film it one day, I'll start editing and putting it together on the line, as we call it, dropping it on the line of my editing software, and I'll finish it the next morning and try and get it uploaded for you that evening, so it's as close as we possibly can. Whilst I'm working on the edit the next day, I've also got to try and film that next day's edit, you know, so I'm out there sort of trying to film what we're doing whilst I'm still editing. I finish that eventually if I can come up with some topics, and then I'm working through the night trying to get that one off while the other one's trying to upload. So what I'm saying is we love doing these daily vlogs, but it's doing my head in. It's kind of, we're not getting time. And then we have this sort of, you know, there's always this happens, because I know that there are YouTubers out there are daily vlogging at this time, and good luck to them if they're doing it. But I also know it's really, this epidemic has really screwed up a lot of content creators, because before the epidemic, they were quite often 6 months in the bag of their video. A lot of travel vloggers have at least 6 months worth of videos. If you look at their channels, you'll see that, because they're still trying to put up, for quite a long time they were still trying to put up stuff. So you can't really put up a video like, I'm partying in Ibiza, you know, I'm in Ibiza at a party on the beach, yeah, and everybody's looking at it and saying, but hang on, what about COVID? And you say, well, yeah, no, this wasn't now, this was last summer. And so we have this sort of this problem. This has never happened in the history of sort of YouTube vlogging before, where people are getting caught out because they literally can't pretend that 3 or 4 months ago that they were in Ibiza if there was no sort of COVID, or they were in Spain, or they were anywhere else in the world. So what's happened is that knocked a lot of people off their cadence a lot. You see a lot of people having to put up at the beginning of their videos, oh, by the way, this was before the lockdown, so, you know, and it's messed everyone up. So Michelle and I thought we would do this daily vlogging for a bit of fun, just to kind of get everyone involved. But these last few days, I just haven't, I've barely slept, because I'm filming, I'm putting stuff up, and if you understand just how much work goes into making a video, it's a lot of work, you know, it's an immense amount of work. So you're trying to get that video up as close to the day, and then we get comments from you guys saying, you know, was that filmed today? And I'm like, no, how could it, you can't do that. I mean, it's impossible to sort of get up in the morning, film the shower scenes, go out and get food, walk around the streets, come back, edit it. In this environment, it's impossible because it takes me several hours at least to upload the video. So we're doing pretty good to get it out the next day to you, and even then I'm using a lot of my data to do that. So, and then some days we're having worse glitches because I'll upload a video, which I can do in Australia. Now I'll upload a video, there's a glitch or a problem in the video. Now in Australia I can say, oh, you know, blast, I'll get that quick edit and I can upload it again, takes 30 minutes. Here when that happens, as it happened the other day, when it was doing my heading, I've got to do the edit, re-render, which can take up to an hour to render. See, these are sort of several gigabytes, the videos that I have to put up. And then once you've done that, you can't, if you make a mistake, it's just disaster, because you're then virtually working till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning trying to get it sorted out. So we're going to continue to do daily for a little bit longer, but it's not going to go on forever. There's a huge difference, and if everyone ever gets into this sort of this workload Michelle and I have done alternate day videos for years now. That's why we've got so much content. We've managed to put up alternate days fairly consistently. There are times when we lose it, but consistently, and that's doable. But daily is really, really hard for us. And I know a lot of young kids and that manage to sort of chuck up stuff. Good for them. But we're trying to live a really good quality of life, you know. And when I go to VidCon, as I've been a couple of times now, which is the big YouTube events and things, all I ever see is like loads of young depressed kids, like absolutely beside themselves, you know, and they turn the camera on and go, you know, they with the purple hair, that's crazy, and they all sort of like giggle and laugh, and it's wonderful, and they switch the camera off and they just slump down. You know, their whole demeanor drops, and they look, and you start talking with them and they just can't talk because they've given everything they can to the camera. Trust me, I've seen this so many times in our community. It's frightening, and I feel for the kids, because you know, they're not often old enough to know how to handle things. So we're going to continue for a little while longer, but we are going to eventually go back to alternate days, or at least maybe 3 videos a week. But for this week, we'll probably manage. We've got quite a bit of content that we're doing. I hope we can get it up for you. So does that make sense? Any questions about that?
No, they were very quietly listening to you. Buenos Dias imagery has just come in, so that's
okay.
Say hi.
Who's coming?
Buenos Dias.
Hey, Buenos Dias. Hey, Buenos Dias, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the day. I think, you know, you did that daily vlogging, man, for so long, and you know how hard it is, right? And having something in the bag is essential. And I just was, I don't know if you saw or you listened to all that, mate.
Hi, Ben.
G'day, Ben. So anyway, let's get this CIMIC thing out of the way before it drives me.
What on earth are you wearing?
Ben, I'll tell you, last time I'm doing the joke, mate, Michelle said to me I would lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. I went down to the baker's to get a CIMIC just now, but I have no idea what I did with it. Of course, this is the world's largest CIMIC. I couldn't believe it today when I went into the shop and this CIMIC was there, and I said, that's the CIMIC I want. So I thought I'd wear it to give you all a little bit of a chortle. I've actually, because it isn't quite big enough to go over my head, I've had to cut a lump out of it. That is a CIMIC and a half, isn't it? That is huge. So Margie, you were asking, have you ever, I've never seen a CIMIC that big, and I've had a little bit of it. It was delicious. But I've also, whilst I was there, I went to a different baker than I normally go to. Well, I know I've been there many times before, but not down below me today.
And why did you go to a different baker?
Because he was out of stock and I wanted a walk.
Oh, not because you wanted a walk.
Yeah, because the guy downstairs had no CIMIC, and I wanted a walk. And technically I'm allowed to walk to a baker's and I don't give a stuff what they say. So that's why I went there.
So So Irina says, thank you for all you do, much appreciated. And Nate Morlock says, sorry to virtually interrupt, but is there a Q&A session possible? I have loads of questions for you.
Yeah, right. I wanted to get the main point. Yes, there a Q&A session is definitely coming up very shortly. I just wanted to talk about why we were struggling with the daily vlogging and why we'll try, but forgive us, we may not do it, because Michelle and I, we're too long in the tooth to make ourselves unhappy and tired and exhausted by doing it. It's a lot of fun, but once it becomes no fun, we won't do it anymore, and I don't want to actually get that far. So like today, you know, planning for doing this and going out to get the bakery stuff and doing and getting the stuff means I really haven't been able to film anything much today, and there's not a lot going on. So there you go.
But Ben says, done. I have to rewind the live stream to find out about the daily vlog.
You are, but
Find out at the end.
it's only going to be the first 30 minutes, 20 minutes max that we're talking about the daily vlogs. And I've got quite a few friends at daily vlog, and I know the stress and the effort that they put in. And I often think, you know, you probably all heard the calamities around sort of daily vlogging. Michelle and I thought we would do it because it would be a bit of fun and also we were kind of doing it for ourselves, to motivate ourselves to get off our backsides and do something every day. But I forgot just how much work it was. It's an immense amount of work, and while I love it, I don't want to miss out on life just to be sat at a computer all day editing. Those vlogs take hours to edit, and then now, because we've got rubbish internet, they take hours to upload. So yesterday's one, to get it up yesterday, I had to use 4 gigabytes of my data just to sort of push that one over the line to get it up there for 12:30 midnight. So we're actually 12:30 midnight, we're watching it with you guys, and it doesn't finish. We don't go to bed to 2 or 3 in the morning, so we're waking up shattered. So.
And with this internet, you have to babysit it a little bit to make sure it doesn't disconnect.
Yeah, I have to keep, you know, if I'm not watching the upload, it just stops working. So I have to, it can take several hours to upload, and I keep having to watch it. So we have got Tuborg. Thank you very much. And
Ben
Paul,
says, remember when you did daily video challenge a few years ago? Was it like during an October?
We've done it before. We've done it a few times, Ben. We've done it in October. We did Vlogtober. We've done Christmas ones, and we've produced 1,000, 1,500 videos or so. So we've done it many times before, and I know we can do it, but I'm a lazy so and so. And anyway, I'm going to.
The Royal Wedding 6 hour special.
Yeah, do you remember that? The Royal Wedding 6 hour special. That one was amazing because I had to speak for 6 hours. That was in Perth in Australia, and I made a whole bunch of food. For those of you that didn't see that, you could go and watch it if you have like an
entire in 3 parts, because
if you're having a whole lifetime to waste. Because what I wanted to for the royal wedding was to make an entire sort of afternoon tea. So we were making the little sandwiches, and we were making lemon drizzle cakes, and we were making all sorts of things and putting them into a sort of afternoon tea service, and going through the process of making it that. And it was many hours. 6 hours, Ben? It probably was, or was it even longer than that? Michelle would probably share that with you. I would recommend you don't watch it.
I'm just getting it. Hang
on, I wouldn't watch it. But you know, if you've got a day to it was good fun doing, but I think my voice was virtually gone at the end. So let's get this Tuborg into a glass. I do like these wine glasses for beer. These sort of like goblets. They're really nice. That's actually quite often how I drink my beer back home as well.
I beat you, Ben.
What's that?
You put it up as well.
Did you put it up, Ben?
No, mine's ahead of you.
Thank you, mate.
Barris wants to know, how long will you stay in Istanbul?
Barris, how are you, mate? We don't know. That's still we're going to go, and we will vlog it. I think we're going to go and try and see if we can't see with the immigration people next week and see what the what the crack is there. We need to find out whether or not we're welcome to stay any length of time, or whether we might have to pay for extra visas and that. So it will be down to how that pans out for us. We would like to stay longer, but we don't know. Cheers, Paul. Cheers, me dears. Cheers, everybody.
Mario Cat said, is tea good with Simmet?
Tea is good with Simmet. I like my Simmet. Yeah, no, I shouldn't say really, because I do like it with cheese and things, but I actually quite like it with jam and peanut butter. So I like a sort of PB&J Simmet. That's quite nice. I know it's not, but it's quite nice. But as a rule, 9 times out of 10, I have it with with feta cheese.
I take it Ben doesn't like peanut butter, but he says, oh, peanut butter.
You know what? I don't like peanut butter, actually, Ben. I'm not a big fan of peanut butter, but I like PB&J. I've always liked my PB&J. So
One
so it's good.
says, yes, daily vlogging is quite a hustle and grind, and the more you can automate and pre-plan, all the better. But it's certainly been a while since I've done that. I don't mind going back to it.
You did it for, oh my Lord,
For a long time.
2 years or so. I don't know. It seemed a long time, but you were absolutely fastidious with it. Which so and when we've been to the VidCon events, when we met you the first time in the VidCon event, how many youngsters really sort of burn out doing that, and how hard it is for them. I think actually, Pablo, when we're a little bit longer in the tooth, I think we can actually, I think we can do it better, not better, but we can cope with the problems that come with doing that a lot better than some of the youngsters can.
Ben says,
Check out Buenos Dias vlogs, by the way. Are you still, no, imagery, you're doing the photography. Did you change the name of your channel, or did you start a second channel, or did you rename your channel? I know when you started early on doing the photography stuff that you were still doing it on the vlogs channel.
so Ben says, oh, with jam, I haven't tried it with jam before.
Peanut butter and jam is beautiful. Peanut butter on itself just sticks to the roof of your mouth and ends up doing all sorts of strange stuff.
Rena says Nutella over peanut butter any day.
Yeah, Nutella's good. I actually
I like my peanut butter on its own, but I like jam with my cheese.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There she is, Michelle, Queen of administration over there.
Queen of admin over here.
She is. We're a little bit sort of at either end of the screen there, Michelle. Today must have moved the table a little bit, but yeah, there are actually chocolate spreads that I used to have when I was younger in Germany. Some chocolate spreads that are much nicer than peanut butter, than Nutella, by the way. Back in the day, if you ever get your chance, if you ever go into Germany or Holland or places around that area, particularly in Germany, there are chocolate spreads, hazelnut spreads that knock the socks off of Nutella. Much nicer.
Margie says, I love to have Simmet with Nutella, but we'll try with yogurt and honeycomb tomorrow. Honeycomb is so addictive. We'll have another teaspoon before bed. Ah,
yes. Margie is my neighbour, and she actually she's really had her first honeycomb honey. When we went out the other day, and she said she loves it.
So Buenos Dias says, totally agree. I did change the name and focused on photography.
And Jack from
and Jack Crow says hello from Saudi.
So you did change the name. That's good, man. I love the new camera. You got the R, didn't you? The EOS R camera. We were thinking, I know that the R5, let's not go into that. I know that the R5 is coming out at some point. That's going to be a very interesting camera. But let's not talk cameras, but we'll lose people if we start talking cameras, mate.
Hi, Buenos Dias. He said hello to me. I love peanut butter crunchy, so do I.
Yes. So questions. I'm gonna. We're moving away from the vlog thing. If anyone comes in at the beginning, they get my opinion on that. If we want to have a chat now, go for it. But while we're at it, I want something to eat. I'm starving. So I've got a chocolate brownie, a Turkish chocolate brownie. I've got some strange little ball-shaped things that I'm not sure what they're called. He did say the name to me, and I've got sütlaç. But this time I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it cold. So that's the cream rice pudding. I've got a chocolate brownie, and I've got something else. Go on, you can choose. So which one would you go for? Tell me.
Okay, so while they're thinking about that,
While
Barış,
you're
just hope you will enjoy Istanbul more. I can advise you some places in Kadıköy and Istanbul.
Thank you, Barris. Thank you, mate.
Mario Cat says, was anything different in Ramadan?
In what way?
I think she was talking. That was who said about it, playing the drums at night. Did they do it this Ramadan?
Yeah, they played the drums at night. Well, I wouldn't say it was playing the drums. They hit the drums quite loudly at night and walked up and down the streets. It's a sort of, there's a guy that goes around. It's quite interesting here. There's a guy that goes around the streets before the sun up, and it's kind of. I'm not sure, because sunup seems to come quite a bit after, but I think it's maybe an hour before sunup. Walks up and down the streets. Really interesting idea. He beats the drums really loud and wakes everybody up so that they can get up and have food before sunrise. Now that's great, but it does kind of wake us up as well. I got used to sleeping through it a little bit, but it's interesting. So yes, they do it down our street. We're kind of lucky, but he doesn't come down our actual street. He goes down near to us, so it's not super loud. But if you walk out and see him, which because he comes also, I think, just about sundown as well, if I remember rightly. And if you go out and actually see him there, man, it's a loud drum. It's like a big military drum almost, and he has a stick and he sort of shakes and bangs the stick. It's quite amazing. And Barris, I won't call it particularly noisy. I wouldn't say our guy is particularly melodic, but he certainly wakes the neighborhood up.
So Gracie says brownie. We saw you eat sütlaç, but Ben wants to know what the options are again.
Ben, you can't. You're too late, man. I'm going with the brownie. I'm happy with that. No. Okay. Paul.
He says for beer and dessert fun. My balcony is getting too big to have to live vicariously through you. Enjoy.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Paul, because I'm working on my balcony this evening. I'm going to have I'm not going to have a balcony. I'm going to have sort of like a veranda. I think it's going to be like a place I shall need decking for it by the end of this weekend, because look at the size of this chocolate brownie. It's a big slab. It's got little pistachio dust on top of there. I'm pretty certain it's got coconut. And if you look, can we get that on a plate, Michelle?
Yeah, Ben said I thought we were a democracy, Stephen. Democracy.
We are a democracy,
chocolate
Ben.
Brownie it is.
We are, Ben. Hands up. Hands up, who wants chocolate brownie?
Can you see all the hands?
I can only see one hand, Ben. I think that's the thing. The next thing we do have, and maybe one of you. There's a few Turkish names I see in there. Can you tell me what these are? Do you know what these are? Because they look delicious, and I thought to myself,
do I get this out here?
If you can, it's quite
soggy.
Quite soggy. It's got a hazelnut. It looks like a hazelnut on top. It's got little beads all over it. Chocolate sauce. It's all sticky. Look at that. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I don't know what it is. Anyone want to give me the name for that? Anyone from Turkey here that can tell me what that is? I'll hold it nice and steady so you can see. They are little sort of glutinous balls, absolutely dripping in some sort of sugary coating. That we'll have later. Now I've had a little taste of it.
Well, I can vouch that's very nice because I had to lick my fingers.
All right, so I would cut this in half, Michelle. Let's have half. I can't eat all that, man. That is a slab of a chocolate brownie. I don't know if you can scale it up here, but I mean, it's a big chocolate brownie, and the plate is sort of running with what looks to be like a chocolate sauce.
Just eat what you want, because I don't think I'll be able to move it again.
This, no, I think this. Just give me a knife. I want to cut it. I want to cut it. Is this a vegetable?
A vegetable?
This is classed as a 5 a day.
Maybe.
It's got some green stuff on top, so I think it's a vegetable of sort. So let's just cut. I want to cut it because I want to see if it's got that brownie texture.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. No, it's got more. It's a little more sponge cake than it is brownie. So cut that in half. You got a plate there, Michelle? And I'll pop some.
Just getting back to all the questions. Excuse me, that's not half.
You want half?
That's not half.
You want a whole half?
Of course, because you're going to eat all those other things as well.
Okay.
I'll take the knife away.
Thank you. I tried to rob her of a little bit of brownie and she's had me on it. Okay, we're not hanging about today. I'm going straight in because I'm starving. Let me tell you what this chocolate brownie is like. It's got a sort of chocolate glaze over the top. Oh man, if you're hungry, that's delicious. That is nice. It's a bit sponge cakey. Very moist.
So get these back to these questions. All here. Look,
yes.
Says you like that. I think you should try tavuk gogsu, a milky dessert made with chicken. Somebody else said about that one.
Now that chicken dessert looks very interesting, and I will try it if I can find it, and I know I will find it. Can you think of this? This is a milky dessert made with chicken, like a shredded chicken in it.
That would be interesting. The Rambling Tog wants to know what the $20 thing's about. I think you're talking about the $10 things. It's a super chat.
That is from my good subscriber here. Let me see. What can you see there? So up on the top there, was it? Who said that?
So Rambling Tog.
It's $10 from Paul, and Paul is chucking me some beer money, which is very nice, and something about his balcony. My balcony fund.
So Barris
forget it stays at the top there, doesn't it? That's why they can see it.
So Barris wants to know: are there hash on them, on those little things? I don't know. I think they're hazelnuts, aren't they, on top of those little things?
It look like little hazelnuts on top. This is very nice. It's not really a They call this a chocolate brownie. Well, you and I probably wouldn't call this a chocolate brownie. It's not dense enough. It's a little, but it's super moist. It's more like a chocolate drizzle cake. It's got chocolate sauce running through the sponge itself. So I would say if you think of a lemon drizzle cake,
it's light, isn't it?
It's much lighter, so therefore I'm able to.
Now, so Barry said it looks like a. It looks like a. Sorry, I've lost it now. A Kemala pasta dessert. Don't know whether it is.
It could be. We'll look at it in a minute, and I'll explain it to you. Arthur, thank you, mate. What is that?
He said, instead of an edited vlog, can you narrate along with video that you live stream? Could be wall clips, maybe with you talking picture in picture.
I can, Arthur. I mean,
that doesn't work, then, does it? How would you do that?
I'm not sure how I would do it, mate. Instead of seeing live vlogs, you could narrate along with the video that you live stream. I've done a video, if that's what you mean. I've done a video recently where we walk around the streets and then I narrate over it, and that works. Is that what you mean, Arthur? We walked around the streets, and I might do that again. That was quite fun to do, and it's a little simpler for me to edit because it's just a walking video with very little cuts and edits. So it's almost got like a chocolate sauce, like a chocolate pudding running through it.
So Mario Cat says, I've lived in Turkey for a few years, but I don't know what they are.
Okay.
And Berkan Bass says, I'm Turkish, but I don't know what they are.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what they are because I'm going to finish this off nice and quickly because that's just like my starter. Yum yum. That is absolutely delicious, but it's much more like, they call it a chocolate brownie in the shop, but it hasn't got the density of a chocolate brownie. It's more like a chocolate drizzle cake, if there is such a thing.
Orhan says hi.
So let's just, Orhan, how are you?
Gracie Kitty says, teasing us with the sweets, need my fridge now. It's a slab for sure.
Oh, that goes quite nice with the beer, actually. So,
And Orhan says, my favourite dessert is hot kunafe with yannick ice cream.
Kunafe, oh wow, kunafe with ice cream would be fantastic. Who said that?
Orhan.
Orhan. Kunafe with ice cream would be great. Kunafe is like a sort of like a cheese, a sweet cheese dessert. The one we've had has a little bit of coconut in it as well. So it looks like almost mozzarella soaked in sort of honey sauce. Absolutely delicious. Serve that with ice cream, spot on. That would be.
Well, it's the yannick ice cream, which is burnt ice cream, which comes from the Antalya region.
Burnt ice cream.
Yes.
Do you know what? We're coming out of lockdown. It's definitely, it's confirmed now. We are coming out of lockdown. I believe, excuse me, the beer's gone to it. I believe next week we're going to be able to get some good food. You saw that we've been very limited with the supermarkets that we go to. I have to say, by the way, several people have said to me the Shock supermarket, or Sock as it's spelt, as we would pronounce it, but the Shock supermarkets are actually Turkish. I think in the early days, the founding company came from Switzerland, or I don't know why I thought it was from the north, from Scandinavia, but it is actually a Turkish-owned group. So I would rather shop there actually, and I'm nothing against France at all, but I just feel like the Carrefour supermarkets, they're kind of encroaching all over Europe, and I'd rather try and support wherever I can local supermarkets. So that's what my point was there. I was trying to say to people, I really want to support Turkish industries and Turkish businesses and Turkish food. So Shock, we can shop there comfortably. It is Turkish.
Alibas says hi.
Hi Alibas. G'day, mate.
We're going back to the little ball.
I'm going back. I'm going to go. We're going to tuck into these little balls. So
Arthur was saying, use a live stream producing software or service. OBS is a free software. StreamYard is a service.
No, it's not possible for us here, Arthur, because I can only really get a decent stream from my phone. OBS doesn't work on the phone very well. I can't tether it. Once I tether to the phone, I seem to lose connection speed. I've used OBS. I know how to use it. I can use multiple cameras. I've done it before. Something like OBS or similar, I can very much get my head around. I have no problems with that. But the OBS doesn't work with your phone. You're much more limited. Right now, all I'm doing is using my phone on a little tripod to do it. So, you know, if we were back home, if we were settled in a place, we could do a lot more. What do you think these are? It's like a little chocolate. It's like a little chocolate sauce, like a ganache, with a hazelnut on it, and then these little beads.
So Barry says, I love this view about Turkish products. It's cool.
Okay.
And Mario. That's
quite figgy. That's quite. That is interesting. So that's.
Ben says, stop teasing us and tell us what it is.
I don't know what it is, Ben. It's like Christmas pudding almost. It's like a sort of very soggy, like a baklava crossing between baklava and a Christmas pudding. It's because it's got cinnamon. It's got cinnamon, maybe nutmeg in there. Oh, that's delicious. So I don't know if you can really see. If I hold it very steady, you can see that there's lots of liquid inside that.
Absolutely. It looks like poppy seeds on them.
It looks like poppy seeds, but I'm not sure if it is. They're a little bit too small for poppy, and they don't have that poppy seed taste.
So Mario Cat said there was a smaller version of it
Wow.
called curd and pasta, but they are probably not the same. So they keep saying about this Kemal.
Can you Google it to see, Michelle? When somebody suggests something, just have a little look, see if it looks like this. So it's really sticky and gooey. It tastes like a cross between a sort of Christmas pudding and a baklava. It's got all those sort of Christmas spices. Yum, that's good. I love that.
It does look. It was look darker than this. It looked a little bit like the Indian. What's your favourite dessert?
Chris, I did try the green plums. Say again? Oh,
Looks
gulab
like-
jamun.
yeah.
It's like
Is it
Michelle's
like
saying
this?
it's like a no. It's not like a gulab jamun.
You
It's
know,
not.
it looks like it in the pictures here, but there are some similar to that.
Can I see? You just turn it around.
Was it a nut or a cream on the top?
It's a nut with a ganache, like a chocolate ganache.
Mm.
I did try the green plums. They're okay. I don't see the they're like unripe plums. So I'm not quite sure I get the joy out of them. So you can see where I'm touching down. When you touch the bottom of this, it's covered in like a syrup. It's definitely got what we would call pie spices or Christmas spices or pumpkin spices, the Americans call it. Quite a rich flavor. So it's a little bit like a sponge, but slightly textured. That's delicious. I like that a lot. Do you want to try one?
No, I'm all right.
Yeah, you're gonna no. Oh, all right. Michelle's
It's
just now.
it's too
Very sweet. Very sweet. Now the sugar's kicking in.
You want a bit of that simmer ice cream?
Mm.
All for you, Steve. Yes, I agree, Ben.
Oh. It's very rich, Ben. That's like,
We can save them for tomorrow.
imagine Christmas pudding that's been soaked in the syrup from a baklava, and then on top of that you've got a very sugary syrup and the chocolate ganache on top. Well, that needs a little washing down. So what's the name, Michelle? How do we say it? Because he said to me in the bakers, but I was thinking about other things. And
Kemal pasta?
Kemal Pasa, if
Maybe.
anybody wants to look that up, Kemal Pasa. See if it's got cinnamon or I'm certain if you look up a recipe.
Ben wants to know how many thousands of skips you'll need to do to burn that up.
I can't, Ben, we haven't found the rope. Since Michelle put it away, it's been impossible to find.
Oh, it's a large town, apparently.
Huh.
Let me just
Very nice. Very delicious. Highly recommend that. If any of you want one, help yourself. That's quite sweet though.
Well, it says it's a dough of flour, unsalted cheese, semolina, egg, water, and baking powder. The dough is formed into small balls that are fried and then boiled in syrup.
Semolina and cheese.
And it's dried from it's packaged in boxes and served with cream in the winter and ice cream in the summer.
I'll have to find out what this is. This doesn't taste like it's got cheese in it.
It's variations of the gulab jamun.
That is very nice.
It is
Very
one of
nice.
those.
Extremely sweet. Now, I also, and if I can reach it, ooh.
Chris says, what time do you guys get up at normally there? It must be hard to sleep after streaming with the street noise, etc.
Who said that?
Chris Garton.
Chris, we have become like the Turks. In Istanbul, certainly here, people never seem to go to bed. They're out there now and it's 12, 13 and people are wandering around.
Well, curfew's over.
Is curfew over?
Curfew over.
Okay. So, you know what happened last time? The shops will be opening. It was quite funny to see earlier today. There were about 8 guys stood down the end of our road and a police car went by, and it's the first time I've seen this because normally they don't seem to care and they just wave to the police, but this time they all ran. They were like sort of scattering cats up the alleyways hiding from the police. So I've been down to get a sutlach from the bakers and I've got a cold one here, and I'm not going to heat this one up because I'm going to see what it's like as a cold pudding, because generally I like this hot. That's why I love the idea of having the kunefe with that ice cream. You say it's like a burnt ice cream?
Yes, burnt ice cream. That sounds nice.
That sounds so good.
Maybe be able to have that soon now the shops are opening.
We might be able to. So, were there questions, Michelle? Let's get some questions, because you said who was it who was asking at the beginning that they wanted to ask a few questions?
I've forgotten, but they haven't asked any. I will go back.
Ask away if you've got some questions. Now is the time. Curious to know how long you took to reach 100,000 subscribers to be off. No, it's okay. That's all right. When we had our cooking, when I was doing mainly my cooking show, it grew very quickly. Um, we actually passed 100,000 subscribers. I think it took about, I'm going to guess about 3 years to get there. And I always remember getting my 100,000 subscribers because I was actually sick in Mexico City. We were in Mexico City, and I was absolutely wretched. I was in such a bad way, and I could barely get. We stayed in a hostel, and I was on the fourth floor, and I had a very bad infection of some sort. I don't know what was happening, and I remember staying up to watch. You watch the counter go by, and we went over 100,000 subscribers, and I sort of went, yay, and just collapsed on the bed. I was like, we were watching, waiting for it. It was the most unexciting moment. It was probably the least celebrated 100,000 you can imagine. I was in such a bad way, but it was funny. So it was in Mexico City. I remember it very well, and I really haven't ever had my 100,000. I've seen the 100,000K plaque that you get. It's at my mother's at the moment in Australia. One day we'll get a hold of it. So it was not too. I don't remember how long it took, to be honest. And I'm not a great bean counter. I don't tend to worry so much about the stats and things. Have you tried Turkish Iraqi? Good with cheese and melon. No, my friends keep telling me they're going to take me out and we're going to have Turkish Raki. I think Turkish Raki is aniseed flavored drink, a little bit like Pernod or Ouzo.
Oh, you like that?
I really can't stand aniseed. I can eat almost anything, but I don't like licorice and I don't like aniseed. And even though my friends keep saying, oh, no, you love it, you love it, you love it, I'm not looking forward to it. The first time I went out with a group of friends who gave me a flaming Zambuca is a drink. I didn't know what it was. They gave it to me. They set a light to the drink and gave it to me in a bar many years ago. As soon as I brought it up to my face and smelt that it was aniseed, I paused. And you should never pause when you're drinking a drink that's on fire. And the whole sort of front of my face went up in flames. It singed my eyebrows. Had about 3 days where I had sort of like a burnt nose. So and it wasn't because it was just the smell of aniseed. It kind of makes me recoil.
They say good quality brands will not smell.
I know, but you see, if you like aniseed and you like those flavors, it doesn't matter. I've had some of the most. I keep trying, and I'm not a big drinker, as you know, anyway. But I'm not looking forward to it. My friends here are going to take me and we're going to have it at some point, but I'm not looking forward to it. So here we've got the Sütlaç, lovely crispy top on top again, but this one's a chili, a nice cold one. I shouldn't twist it. So this is a Turkish rice pudding, a sweet rice pudding, and they make this in the bakery near where I am. So they bake this in the same oven where they bake the bread. So it's delicious. I'm going to see what it's like cold. So get through that lovely skin again.
So,
I'm really looking forward to this. Michelle knows I love this pudding. I don't know if it'll be quite as good cold, but let's give it a try.
not had one cold, have you really? Not properly cold.
Oh, it's delicious.
Is it good?
It's really good. I even like it cold. I prefer it hot, but it does kind of stay together, doesn't it, if it's cold? I haven't eaten much today, so you forgive me for tucking in.
So Ben says, will cafes and restaurants be open from next week?
Ben, it looks like things are opening. It looks like cafes. Was it the last video I put up where we?
Yes.
I don't know how this works, but the gentleman in the cafe we spoke to said that they're restricting 3 to a table on a table of 4.
Makes sense.
Go figure. That's Turkish social distancing for you. Mario, my favorite Turkish food, I don't know yet because I love the fish that they sell fresh on the seafront down near Karakoy. They make like a mackerel fish. They cook the mackerel fish on the grill and they serve it with like a pomegranate salad. And I like it in the big, like it's like a sub sandwich that they serve it in. Michelle likes it in the in a wrapped bread, so it's more like a flatbread that they wrap it up in. I quite like it in the sub sandwich. The fish is delicious. I can't remember the name. We would know these things if we'd been out anywhere in the last 3 months, but we've been kind of stuck in these few streets for 2.5 months now.
So Jim Donnelly says, have you been to Ireland? We do lock-ins, not lockdowns usually. You'd be very welcome.
Yeah, I'd like a lock-in Ireland right now. Jim, was it Jim?
Yeah.
A lock-in Ireland would be a lot of fun right now, wouldn't it? You know the crack, mate. We'd get some music going, we'd have some fun. I think that would be good. That actually is that's my kind of enjoyment.
Chris Garton says, do you ever think of re-uploading some old videos? Some of them have way too little views compared to others. Bread series and yogurt, for example. Yet they have some of the best info I found your channel from some of your older videos.
Maybe. Who said that?
Chris.
Chris. Maybe, Chris, we might do, or what I tend to do is maybe redo them if we have some plans. Watch this space over the next year. It's going to be an interesting year. Actually, don't watch it too closely because it'll be pretty slow. It might be like watching sort of custard set. We have some plans this year. It's going to be an interesting year.
I'm not going to share them
But
yet because we're not sure.
we even uploaded a whole bunch of European videos to my other channel, which I don't promote at all, and they've never been on this channel. And I said to Michelle, we really should put them up. I am working on Ben and who was in last time. Rena was in. I am working on the meditation video. It looks quite good, so I'm going to sort of tidy it up and put an intro in sometime this week.
Nearly there.
Nearly there. I've got to work on the last little bits of it. It's a bit of fun. That's going to go up this week. Steve, the mindful meditation guru, coming to a screen near you. And some of those old videos, yeah, there's some of them are very good. I think, we think, and they have tiny views. But when my channel started to take off with the food, most of my videos got very good views. But there's still quite a big group of them that missed, that fell through the cracks. I mean, there's some great series, if I say so myself. The pasta series is really a great series. The yogurt making series is really a fun series. You're right, the bread series was good. The meat series that we've done. We've done so many nice little series that'll take you through. Even the pound cake series that'll take you through all the different things you can make with a very simple pound cake recipe. From a beautiful Paddington Bear birthday cake all the way down to a simple lemon drizzle cake. Those videos, they still do okay. They still actually get regular views, but you're right. Some of them probably could do with promoting. I don't know how to do it, man. I'm hopeless at YouTube. I don't even know how we grew. Some friends of mine that started at the same time, their channels haven't grown like ours. I don't know why. Because I'm the most hapless of YouTubers. I'm absolutely useless at it.
So I'm just so Nate has another question. Thanks for answering, Steve. How often did you upload videos during the time you were working up to 100 subs? Also, has it become a full-time source of income for you since then?
Nate, are you thinking of doing it? If you're thinking of doing it, mate, you better be prepared to earn almost nothing for a long, long time. I used to. I can't remember what our early schedule was.
We used to do 2 a week, and then sometimes it was 3.
I think I used to do. Sorry, there's an echo. Michelle's saying, but I mean, at least 2 a week. But the schedule is really important, and I would always do 2 a week. But there have been times. I think we probably did 3 a week.
And we did. Then we went to 3 a week from quite early on. I think.
And at sometimes, like coming up to Halloween and Christmas time, I almost always did 1 a day.
Yeah.
Very often around Christmas time, I love or those I love those celebratory times, you know, whether it's the 4th of July, whether it's coming up to Anzac Day, whether it's coming up to Halloween. I love those times, so I quite often do big series about that time. I get quite excited about it. I think, look, to be honest, why we stopped doing it is a little bit the spark was starting to go. And I watch now some of my older friends who do YouTube. I was watching the other day, I won't say names, but there's a guy who's done very well with his cooking channel, and several that have done really badly, but there's a guy who's done very well, and I watched him doing what he does well, and I just thought, oh my lord, to still be churning that stuff out all these years later, the same format, it must be soul destroying. For me, it would be soul destroying just to be doing the same thing over and over and over. I left that type of work environment behind in my 30s. So last thing I want to do is start churning out over and over again the same stuff. Now it's good stuff, but I know from being very friendly with some of the YouTube cooks that you will all know, just how hard that can be, and it just wasn't for us. So my philosophy in life really is, if it isn't fun, don't do it, and that's paid off for us mostly. So if you know, we are taking risks doing what we do now, risks that aren't paying off, because we're certainly not getting we've not brought the audience along with us. But look at the great audience that we have brought along with us. We've got some of the best viewers, some of the most friendly followers that I could ever want. And we had the same when we were doing the cooking. And I know that I upset some people when I stopped doing that on a regular basis. And I do not care, but I don't care, if you know what I mean. I'm not gonna be subservient to a lifestyle, because I don't think anybody should do that. So what was the question again? That generally was, how often was
did you upload videos during the time you were working up to the 100 set K subs, and has it become a source of income for you since then?
It's a source of income. I wouldn't say it's a full-time source of income. You're not going to see me rocking up in a Rolls Royce anytime soon, not from the money that I make off of doing videos. We do it more because we love doing it and we enjoy what we do. It certainly has times when it does better for us than others. There's always good money to be made around Christmas time or around big events, but
be consistent, be persistent, and just
yeah. Okay, look, if you want, I would say to youngsters, or not youngsters, even people our age who want to get into doing YouTube and want to do it for money, it's not a good thing to do. If you enjoy doing it, it's a very good thing to do. It's the most liberating thing to do. But I would say don't give up your day job if you want to make money out of it. The problem is even when I see quite a few, for every PewDiePie and somebody that's making millions of dollars a year, there's lots of people making very modest income on YouTube. I mean, quite often below minimum wage, and they work much harder than people that could, you know, they might as well be working in a shop stacking shelves, to be frank. And you can lose many years of your life doing that sort of thing as well, and create time when you can be times when you could be creative and building a skill base, to waste doing YouTube. You have to want to do it. We were at the right time in our lives to do this, because creating, you know, the right sort of environment to bring up a family. I see quite often people who start families doing this, and you see their struggle. I know some guys that used to do what I did in Steve's kitchen, who barely can break even, and they work so hard. So if you want to do it, but do it because you love it. Don't never do YouTube for money. If you start doing YouTube for money, I know you can all probably think of examples of people that are doing very well in YouTube, but when you think of the stats, if you Google them, you'll see there's millions of hours of videos going up every second in YouTube. There's hundreds of thousands, possibly even tens of millions of creators out there creating stuff, and most of them are making nothing. So
Barris asks, can you make videos about churches in Istanbul?
no, Barris, I won't make church videos. I'm sorry, my friend. It's just not my passion. If I can find a place that inspires me, I may well do it. But I've never been one for. I don't think my heart would be in it enough to make it enjoyable for you, my friend. So if the opportunity comes, yes, but in reality, it's not something it's not something I cherish to do. So I don't think it would come across sincerely enough, and I won't do anything really that I'm not sincere about.
Ben says, in the UK, sitting in cafes, restaurants are still not allowed. You're lucky.
Yes, well, we're not lucky yet, Ben, because there isn't anything. But I know there's a kebab shop just down the road here that opened up on Friday. I didn't notice he was open, and I'm going in there on Monday to get myself one of his beautiful, maybe Adana kebab, or Adana. What are they called? Sorry, sir, Adana. Or he's also got the kebabs on sticks as well, the beautiful meat on sticks. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm probably not going to film it because I just want to go and enjoy this. We will film it, but I'll get to know him first.
Hayden AT says social distancing is over in North America and Canada. Yes.
Good. I'm getting very belligerent about this whole thing. I will upset some people, and I truly don't want to upset anybody, but I don't care if I upset people. Michelle got a little upset today about this whole thing that we've been through, and I'm just annoyed at the moment. I'm very angry about the way this has been handled. I saw statistics coming out that were saying that the death rates had been revised down to 0 point something. It's down to 0.02% rather than the 3% they said they were, which is exactly the same as the common flu. And I'm really starting to get very angry. So I'm not gonna lecture you on it, but somebody said to me, don't mix politics with things with food. No, I don't work that way. I'll mix whatever I like with whatever I like, and I'm not happy. And I know Margie was saying to me today whether we were concerned about the second wave. No, God, I could care less about the second wave. It's the most frustrating thing to hear people dribbling on about. Yes, there will be a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth wave. These things don't go away does the coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus here. Don't get me started. It is a coronavirus. You can Google it. It's absolutely. They've never been able to find a cure for it. That virus has been around since forever. Yes, it will come and it will go and it will come. But then people are always throwing this. Whatever you say, somebody's going to say, so you don't care if my grandmother dies, and that's the excuse that gets thrown at you. And it's like, of course I care. That is such a weak argument, because of course we care. We don't want anybody to die, but people do die every year from all of these, from colds and pneumonia and flu and things. Of course we care, but I am sick to the back teeth of politicians telling us what we can and cannot do. Not because I really care so much, but I really dislike what they're doing to the world and what they're doing to young couples and families. And I did say, somebody on my video the other day, because I said that, somebody came onto it and started spouting some nonsense about the people that had died, and I don't want to hear it. I am as compassionate as anybody would know who knows me about that, but it is a fact of life that people will pass away. And
Ben says the silent majority. majority agrees with you on this, Steve. We're obviously very concerned about the risks of elderly and weak, etc. But government responses have been entirely disproportionate.
It's enough. It's absolutely enough. And actually, it's not even enough. It was already too much. This is appalling behaviour by people that should know better. And I've said it before. So I'm going to just give me 5 minutes, all right? I said it before that these people will never want for anything. They will never ever. You know, I can tell you now that if all these politicians were being laid off and paid 80% of their salary or less, or having to shut down and not earn any money at all and stay at home in apartments and the like, they wouldn't be so smug with their decisions. They wouldn't be so full of righteousness as they tell everybody what they have to do. But they don't. These people, these medical advisors, and that, they don't actually live in the real world. They all have vast amounts of wealth around them. All the politicians will never want for a penny for the rest of their lives. They will be looked after by the state until the day they pass away, and probably wealthy enough that their children and their children's children will be looked after. And if it's anything like the US government, where one Bush hands over to the next Bush, or one Clinton hands over to the next Clinton, it'd be many generations they'll be looked after. The fact these idiots are actually the people that are making these decisions for us, and we have become bean counters on the numbers. This constant, you know, there are websites dedicated to ticking over how many people have died, and it's frightened people. And please, I do understand that many of you may be frightened, but take down your veil and look out at the beautiful world that we're in, and understand that people do die every year, and it's the saddest thing to see. But when people say to me, oh, so you don't care if my grandmother dies? Of course we care. Like everybody else, we care immensely for people. We don't want it to happen. But I'm afraid last year many people's grandmothers died from colds and influenza and pneumonia. It's a very common way for people to pass away at the end of their lives. A very common way. It's not even laughable, but we never normally talk about it. And we have not in the past 200 years ever had one of these epidemics, and there have been many of them over the last couple of 100 years. We have never actually shut down our entire communities in this manner, and I think it's shameful the way the governments around the world have handled this, and I'm disgusted by it, and I'm annoyed by it, and I will talk out about it. So if people want to pop their comments down there, pop away, because you won't ever get through my skin. It's never going to happen. You won't get through my skin. I refuse to kowtow to this nonsense. I can give you a lot of facts that would back up the way I feel, but I bore you to death. But unfortunately, most people have been fed a lot of stuff and nonsense. I fell out with a wonderful subscriber, a lady that I've known for years, at the beginning of this, because I happened to mention that it was just basically a variation of the flu. And I fell out with somebody who's followed me for a long time, and that hurt me. It really hurt me a lot to think that. But I was just telling it as it is. It is verifiable by everybody in the world that the coronavirus is a flu virus. Nobody will dispute that. No prime minister, no president, no health minister will dispute it. The only difference is there is currently no vaccine for it. The common cold is a coronavirus. They've never been able to find a vaccine for it, and they probably never will. Will there be a second phase? Yes, there will. Will it be as bad as the first? No, it won't, because the first wasn't as bad as the first. You know, it won't be. So just get on, take off your mask, give somebody a big hug, catch a cold, catch the flu. But I tell you what, we need to, the best thing that can come out of this, is we can start to say to people, you know, when you get a cold and a flu, stay away from the elderly people who are frail and in danger. Stay away from them. Step back. It's not stupid. It's stupid to take your snotty drivelling nose round to your grandparents' house and give them the chance of, being more respectful. And that's all we needed to do. That's all we needed to do the whole way along. What's happened, you're in the UK, Ben, you'll know this, and I'm sorry for to my American friends who may not know about this, but what happened in the UK is when we should have been taking great care because there was a new flu virus that was sweeping across the world, and we should have been taking care of the elderly and people who were under threat. What happened is that the hospitals dispatched elderly people back to care homes who were absolutely unchecked for coronavirus. They sent them back out of the hospitals into care homes, and what happened? They took those dreadful flus, and I'm going to call it a flu, into the care homes, and it affected and killed many, many people. So this lockdown has caused many, many more deaths than it ever saved. So stop it. Sorry.
Way back up the comments now.
They have a flu. Yes, they have a flu vaccine, Jeremy. They do have a flu vaccine. They have a flu vaccine, and that's why they don't give flu vaccines to 30-year-olds or 7-year-olds. They give it to pensioners, and they also give it to people who are frail and infirm because they know that the flu can kill you. That's why they give you flu vaccines. So we haven't got a vaccine for this particular version of flu. We haven't got a vaccine for it. So what do? You protect those people, and you make an effort to say to people, it would have been so much better to say, let's isolate care homes, let's test people that are going into care homes, let's make sure that people who are sick or in hospitals that have respiratory issues, let's make sure those people are protected, rather than saying to everybody who's fit and healthy that you've got to sit in your house for 3 months, going stir crazy, playing Xbox games, and not letting anybody out. Now, I know actually that some countries haven't gone quite so firm, and actually if we were in Australia, I probably wouldn't be moaning about this, because in Australia people are out and about and down the beaches and having a good time. So, yes,
Okay.
don't.
No, carry on. Carry on.
I probably should set up another channel for this, because I watch a couple of young people who do some sort of stories about this, and I often question what they don't have the knowledge. Actually, they make mistakes, but they're barking up the right tree at least. So
Barris says, if you're still in Istanbul and accept, I will drive you to eat the best foods in the Asian side.
Oh, Barris, I would love that, mate. I would love that, and please forgive me for moaning about the thing. It's just the way I feel, and I'm surrounded by so many people at the moment that are so paranoid, and not everybody. There's still a lot of people that are still sensible enough to know what really is going on, but I am surrounded with people that still are so frightened of this, and rightfully so. They've been frightened to death over this nonsense. So Barris, yeah, I would love to, man. I would love to. There's been a few offers for people to take me. I want to discover the food. I need to be able to do it so I can video it though, so it's a little trickier. If you can actually help me get into some places where they don't mind me filming, that would be very useful.
Ben says, yeah, looking forward to the meditation video.
Yeah, I probably need it now, Ben. Hang on just a minute. Yeah.
Chris says, every time I wanted to look up a recipe, I search your channel, almost every time you have a recipe for it. Lol. Cuban bread, for example.
Cuban bread, lard and flour, can't beat it. Beautiful combination. Absolutely.
So Ben says, some videos on your other channel have very little views despite how good they are, like your walking in Austria video, which is one of my favourites. Yeah,
one of my favourites as well. And is this the Les Patterson show? G'day, mate. Get out of here, Scott. Behave yourself.
So Orhan says, I know you like honey and simit, but have you tried simit with kaimak and honey? That's my favourite breakfast.
I've had, I had pide with kaimak and honey, and that was very nice. But I didn't have simit with it, and it's, I will do. I enjoyed that. The kaimak I had last week, which is like a thick cream, with Simit was very nice. And today also, I think, I'm not sure who said to me, it might have even been, was it possibly the poached egg, Michelle? Was it Barris? Somebody in the comments said to me about this beautiful poached egg they have here in Turkey. It's a poached egg that's served with yogurt and garlic, and then it has like a spicy sauce poured over the top, and that looks delicious. And I can make that, so I might even just make that myself. It sounds delicious.
So Nate says, yes, he is thinking of starting a channel, mostly for fun. I have a full-time income as a union welder, so I'm not counting on it to make me rich. I'm 33.
Do something that makes you passionate. We've talked about this. Scott's the American in Bangkok, wonderful YouTube channel. You can check him out, but do something that makes you passionate. That makes you happy. If you're not doing something that makes you happy, you might as well not be doing it. Joseph, you just watched the FDRX 3000. Did you get a replacement from Japanese head office? Do you still use it today? I did not get a replacement. I managed to sort out my own replacement for it, and I still use it. I still think it's one of the best little cameras on the market. I'm just disappointed with Sony's handling of my complaint, particularly as my camera went belly up with almost, I don't think it was the fault of myself, and it was barely 3 or 4 months old. So I'm not happy with Sony, but I love the camera. I still think it's one of the best cameras.
Chris says, I was sort of making some sourdough videos for YouTube, not for money, just to share some videos, but I find it very difficult to film different angles, editing, etc., especially as sourdough takes time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I'm just going to have a little bit more of my rice pudding while I think about that.
Lots of people are agreeing with your views on the COVID saga.
And please, if you're watching this and you don't agree with me on the COVID thing, I apologise, but we have to have our own thoughts, and I literally will not bend. And I'm actually probably going to get more belligerent and more vigilant, mainly because almost everything I said at the beginning of this thing is starting to appear to be true. And as more and more facts come out, I think governments around the world are going to look very stupid. And as we say, it will have egg on their face. Hopefully not Turkish poached egg with yogurt, garlic, and a lovely drizzle of a chili sauce. That looks so nice. So you take your eggs, you poach your eggs. If you're not any good at poaching eggs, can't help you there. They're very easy to poach. Poach your eggs. You can either lay them on a bed of sort of garlic yogurt, and then you take a spice sauce. It's done with butter, I think, and spices, and pour it over the top. A little bit of salt just to sort of season it. Delicious. Sounds good. And serve it with toast. That's possibly the way I would do it. So it's like a Turkish eggs Benedict, but with a lot more sort of, it's not the smooth sort of flavors of an egg Benedict. It's got lots of sort of spices and herbs in there. Sounds good.
So Nate says, on the bright side, global carbon emissions have been reduced by 8%.
Yeah, there is some bright sides to it, but unfortunately.
And he says, I'm enjoying this personally. Carry on, man.
Yeah, but I think we could have. I don't know. There's no way we could have got those reduction in carbon emissions without this happening. I just wish we could have done it with some people with brains at the helm. It would have been much better.
So Ben says, well, 5-second meditation, that's a YouTube niche to get into, Steve.
5-second meditation. Join me on a little bit of meditation. Listen to your voice, listen to your breath. We're done. Okay.
DJ Me says, how on earth will the travel industry recover? Who's going to feel safe on planes, etc.? Cruise ships rely on elderly paying passengers.
Absolutely, but you know, I think the only way you can actually bring people back on board in that respect is to let them know that nothing really was that special. It was just a simple coronavirus, as are all the other coronaviruses that come out, and there have been several of them over the years, and you've just got to be cautious. I mean, you can test for people. It's just don't get me going again.
I mean, Joseph was asking about the Sony, and actually that's the camera that you used to to film lots of the
A lot of what I'm filming here is done with the Sony FDR-X3000. It's a ridiculous name for a camera. I think if they actually bring a replacement out, it'll be called the Sony FDR 1.26 X3038. So that possibly I've come up with Sony's new name. Why they can't come up with a name like GoPro, I don't know.
Chris says, if the lockdown ends, will you explore Turkey for several weeks?
Look, we'd love to, but we're not sure that we'd be welcome to stay. We don't know what the regulations are going to be here. We're going to try and nail that down this week. So next weekend, if I do a live show, hopefully I'll be able to answer you a bit more clearly on that.
Michael Costa says, the way you feel is the right way to feel. Enjoy and respect this beautiful world. We're all going to die. Yes,
we are. We are all dying after all. Look, dying is not anything to make fun of. It's not to be taken lightly, but it is important that we start thinking. Did I see Tammy just drop in there then?
Yes.
G'day, Tammy. Yo Max.
Yes,
how are you?
You did miss the corona rant.
You did. You did.
Lucky you.
You did. But if you like to rewind and listen to it, Tammy, I suggest you don't. We've had a bit of fun today, though. We started off talking about why daily vlogging is quite a hardship, and thank you, Arthur. Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. We started off by talking about why daily vlogging is quite hard, and then we've eaten chocolate brownies. Oh, and while you're there, anyone new that's come in, and now I see Tammy's come in, and Tammy would love this. I don't know if you know what it is, Tammy. Yo-Yo, I'm talking to Yo-Yo Max, by the way. Wonderful YouTube content creator. You probably all know her already. If you don't, you should get across there. And Scott's in as well. Scott, an American in Bangkok. Anyone else wants a shout out, just let me know. But they don't need a shout out. They're just excellent channels. So this one, Tammy, I bought it in the bakers today when I was breaking lockdown. And I'd never ever had it before because I'd just eaten it, so I know what it is. It's not a stuffed fig. Look at the dripping. It's dripping syrup, a little bit like baklava, but it's a pastry of sorts. Tammy, I don't know what it's like a dark, rich pastry. It's got a hazelnut and a little bit of chocolate ganache and what looks like white poppy seeds, but I don't think it is. I'm not sure what the topping is on there. So I'm not sure what to expect, right? I've not tried this at all. And I took a bite.
Just like that.
And it's heavenly. It's so good because it tastes like a Christmas pudding. It's like a Turkish Christmas pudding soaked in baklava juices. It's got pumpkin spices. It's got cinnamon, nutmeg, I think, in there. A little bit of chocolate and hazelnut on the top.
Yeah, it's just a small nimble bite then, you're right.
Just a little nimble bite. I don't really think it'll show, but it's dripping. I'll probably get it on my keyboard. Yeah. That won't be good. So it's dripping in a sauce. We haven't 100%, we're not 100% sure what it's called, although several of my Turkish friends here have given us some ideas, but I'm not sure. Inside, it is quite simple.
If it is what your Turkish people have said, it's like like the Indian.
Michelle says like gulab jamun.
Well, that's what it says in the wiki. It's another version of that. Right.
Michelle thinks it's a Turkish version of a gulab jamun. Gulab jamun is an Indian round ball dessert that's made, but that is made with milk powder. This hasn't, to my taste, got milk powder. And a good gulab jamun is usually fried before it's soaked in it's a sugar, but it's a lovely sugar solution with cardamom, and when you bite into a gulab jamun, it squeaks on your teeth. It sort of has a sort of like a squeakiness, a bit like a rasgulla, which is a similar dessert, rasgulla. This is not like that. This is much more like a bit like that chocolate cake. It's a bit like a chocolate drizzle cake, but it tastes like Christmas.
I'll just put up your recipe book. So Orhan was saying that what you were describing with the garlic, yogurt, and spice butter is what they make the manti with.
Yes, it is. And Orhan, might have been yourself or someone else said, I must try mante with my mante, which I love, which is the little
Ravioli, aren't they?
like a Turkish ravioli, a little bit of meat inside, that I love. I think you said, or someone said to me today, you should try that with yogurt and garlic, make a sauce up and serve the mante like that, and I will love it, which I know I will, but I can't get any at the moment till the shop's open again. But also the other dish is actually a poached egg dish. Michelle, can you go Turkish poached eggs?
Yeah, I will.
And just see what comes up?
I will do, yeah. Ben asked, did you get the microphone fixed or replaced?
No, that's a job for this week, Ben. Oh, that is sweet though. Oh, everybody, that is a sweet. Tammy, that's very sugary, and that's why I didn't eat all 4 of them, even though Michelle's decided that she wasn't going to have one. I'll save her one because I think she should try it.
So it's a chilbar or a silber, C-I-L-B-I-R.
Silber?
And it's a poached egg
with yogurt. it could be chilba.
With a spicy red
Chilba or silber. So it's
C-I-L-B-I-R.
Yeah, with a spice butter. So it's quite simple, you know, but the simplest foods are the best foods, aren't they? So it's basically just a poached egg, which I love anyway. I like my eggs soft, so I like them to run. And so you can actually, I believe you can also do it with a fried egg, but the beautiful ones usually, it would be 3 poached eggs.
So Barris has found what they are. They're Arab tatlisi.
Okay, so poppy seed Arabic dessert called Arab tatlisi.
Yeah. See, Barris has said.
Barris, I think you've got it on there,
Yeah,
mate.
they
did tell me. So it's called Hashashli Arab tatlisi.
Yeah.
Hashashli Arab tatlisi. I've said that, I've butchered that, but you can copy and paste it. So it's got those Christmas flavors to me. I don't know if it's a special dessert. The chocolate cake, which you missed, Tammy, anyone else that came in later, it was more like a chocolate drizzle cake. It wasn't really like it. It was meant to be a chocolate brownie, but it was much more like a sponge cake that had been soaked in the chocolate pudding. So it didn't have the density that we like for our chocolate brownies, but it was cool.
So God Atom says, hey, when you get travelling soon, maybe up into space.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to be right now.
And Nigel,
but if I get up there quick enough, there's a Tesla up there I can drive around, I think.
Nigel says, let those who want to travel, travel. Those that fear no problem, stay at home. That's how I feel. I
agree, but I want people to I don't want anyone to be fearful.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to go, if you want to know my views, you'll have to go back to about 1 hour, and that's when I kick off.
Nate says Manti is unbelievably delicious.
Yes, it is. Manti's kind of our go-to pasta, but it is not. Can you grab that other pasta, Michelle? Today we bought, or yesterday in the vlog, that was in the vlog, wasn't it?
Yes, on Friday.
Friday we bought this.
Because we've been on lockdown.
This is an egg pasta. So this is a handmade egg pasta. Michelle and I had this today for our sort of dinner stroke, whatever we want to call it. Bear in mind that we're staying up till 3 in the morning and not getting up much before 10 or so. So this is like a very rough egg pasta. Just little short pieces, and we cooked it today. How long did you stay in the water, Michelle? Did you say about 5 minutes?
Yeah, less than.
So it's quite a dense.
So I think everybody's telling me what it's called.
Ariste.
So Barris, Orhan, and Mario Cat.
Oh, thank you guys. Ariste. Ariste. Have I said that right? Ariste. This is a handmade one. You can get the machine-made ones also, and actually my local guy has two. He has the handmade one, which I think they make themselves, and it's delicious.
That was in our video prepping for lockdown, wasn't it? Where you bought this?
Yeah, where I bought it. We haven't. I might cook with it if I get a chance to, but I'll see. That's quite delicious. So that is a very rough. I would say that it is quite a worked dough. Possibly, I think why it's, if you can imagine, if you've ever made pasta before, you don't tend to overwork the pasta because you don't want the gluten to develop too hard in the pasta. And if you overwork the dough, you do get fairly tough pasta. That is kind of tough pasta, but it's quite nice. It's al dente regardless of how you cook it, and quite nice, real chunky pasta. Very delicious. So I have not tried lamakun or lamachun. No.
Mehmet said you should try Tepsi.
I'm loving all the suggestions here. We're making notes. I copy all the comments and put it onto a document at the end so I can have a look through and see what you've all said. So don't worry if you say something and I don't miss it. If I don't see it, if I don't miss it.
You miss it. But Joseph.
I'll show you something. I know some of you coming. I don't know if Scott's still there, but I don't know if Tammy's still there. But Tammy, I started this live stream today. Would you?
Oh,
Have you cut a bit off?
I need something savoury.
Here, present. Will you look? I started this live stream off rather stupidly with the world's largest simit round my neck, wearing it a bit like that because. G'day, Scott. Because I went down to get a simit today from the bakers, and they had none left, but they had this huge simit on the side, so I bought this one. I don't know if it was probably a display model, but I think it was definitely fresh. He was quite happy to sell it to me. It's massive. It's massive, and I sort of started by saying I have no idea where I'd put the simit. It was meant to be, humour in a sort of loose way. I mean, it's huge. It's huge, and it's very tasty, and it's just a big simit. It's probably got a name. I'm sure my Turkish friends. Is it just a big simit? I asked for simit. There was only some other breads there, and I really fancied simit. If I could have got it from downstairs, I would have done, but the guy didn't have any in, so I walked to the next baker's, and that's where I got that from. And I'm really pleased with it, although it'll take up virtually all of our feta cheese. If I fill it, it'll take a whole block.
So Joseph Gillibrand says, have you decided your next country after Turkey?
No, we're flicking between about so many different options. I've got chocolate sauce all over myself.
That's from the cake.
In reality, no, we haven't. We'd like to stay longer in Turkey and explore here.
Right.
No,
Right.
It's just a little bit sticky. So somebody said simit ekmegi. Does that mean big simit?
No, it doesn't come up as a big simit. But...
We'd like to stay here for a while in Turkey, but the visas may stop us from doing that. If we have to move on, we're not in the mood to fly. I think we want to go overland somewhere. Don't be surprised if we end up flying to sort of Nicaragua or somewhere. But the idea at the moment is to try and stay on the ground, trains, buses, whatever we need to do, and explore some places. We still want to do the Camino de Santiago, but I'm not sure the practicality of that at the moment. We'll definitely be doing it, but I don't know when.
So Muddy Kitty says, love you all, enjoy your live streams.
Thank you, Muddy Kitty.
Son-in-law is from Turkey. He lives in Canada now with my daughter. We are in North Louisiana. I miss them so.
Ah, well, I'm sure they miss you too. North Louisiana.
Nice.
Beautiful part of the world. We've been to Louisiana.
So Barry says your friend's Trudy couple gone to the migration office.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that are here stuck are thinking about doing, going to immigration and seeing whether or not they can get extensions to stay here. We'll find out this week. We'll find out. I'm just speculating if I talk about that at the moment. Scott, no, we kind of can't get into other countries because the actual borders, the Turkish borders, are shut into a bit, pretty much all their neighbours. Well, actually, all of their neighbours, and we can't even we can on Monday. We can move out of Istanbul if we want to. But we're not in a hurry to
15th
leave.
of June, possibly be able to move
Flights may be opening up on the 15th of June, but we don't know where to.
And Scott says no automatic visa extensions.
Yes, there is. There's an automatic, we're not going to put you in prison for leaving extension, but we don't know how long it'll be for, Scott. All our friends here in Turkey are much the same. They don't kind of know. It's a bit ambiguous. They've said they won't prosecute people for staying over on their visas, but we don't know if we've got, you know, whether they'll say, okay, leave tomorrow. So we don't know.
Can I recommend Georgia, Azerbaijan or Armenia via Göbekli Tepe?
you're testing Michelle, but yes, you can, Joseph. We had Georgia was pretty much one of the places that we were heading to before this, but whether we'll have time to now, or whether we'll cross over into Bulgaria maybe. We'll know better next week. We've kind of done our heads in trying to think about it.
So Mehmet says you can get a temporary residence permit.
I know about the temporary residence permit, and we'll look into it. It will depend a great deal on how much they want to charge us for the temporary resident permit. I don't want to spend heaps of money on visas to stay here. If they make it simple and there's not too many hoops to jump through, I think I would like a temporary permit so we can stay here a bit longer. But if they keep it to the old system where you've got to start doing medicals and police checks and la-di-da-di-da, I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping through. I have no problems, you know, but I'm not doing it. We're like water, we'll follow the easiest path.
And to be honest, we're not thinking of staying long term.
We'd like to stay. Well, we could be here for ages, but if they start treating it like a normal residency visa where they're asking you to do all these other little sort of bits and pieces and charging a lot of money for it, then probably won't.
So Barry says not a good choice. I think he's talking about the other countries. It is summer and advise Aegean seasides. We've
got a lot of things we'd like to do in Turkey.
There are many places to see in Istanbul.
And all my Turkish friends here in Beyglu, I get it wrong, in Taksim. All my Turkish friends here would love us to stay, but you know, we've been here 3 months, over 3 months now, and our visas have expired. So technically we shouldn't be here.
No.
So we've got to deal with that.
So Mario Cat said, what was something that was weird when you first came but you now are completely used to?
Good question, and keep those questions coming because we'll talk for I'll talk the hind legs off a donkey if you keep some interesting questions like that coming. I think one of the first things I noticed when I came to Turkey were the cats. I knew nothing about the history of cats, but I think when we first arrived here, we walked from the bus from the airport down to where we were staying in a hotel. I was just enamored by the number of cats and the beautiful buildings, the beautiful old buildings in this area. I love all the old buildings that are falling to pieces, the wooden buildings. A lot of people would just think they were demolition jobs. They are demolition jobs, but I love them. They're so different. Cats were one of the first things I noticed. I mean, the whole walk that we did from our bus stop to our hotel, there were cats all over the place. And it's not just seeing the cats, it's seeing the little houses that people build for cats and the little cat food feeders all around the place, and some of the houses have names on. I think that's kind of cool because I like cats and I like dogs because we've got our little dog down there as well that has his little house. But there are a lot less dogs than there are cats in this country, and it's got a lot of history. The cats in Istanbul got a lot of history. Some people say they were brought here to keep down the rats. I've never seen rats. A neighbour of ours had a scorpion in her apartment yesterday. No, a couple of days ago, and I didn't know they had scorpions here, so I'm not looking forward to waking up with a scorpion on my bed.
So Barry says, Turkish people love to hear these things. Please make a video about it.
Thank you, Barry. Well, Barris, you will. If you've been following us in the beginning, you'll see that we do talk about these things, and I'll do more. So I think what we might do is slow down a bit and try and up the quality, not say no more, less quantity, more quality. That's possibly.
This is like titles 5 strange things in Turkey.
Yeah, we hopefully will. You know, there's a chance. There's every chance we could be kicked out quite quickly if it becomes so. Turkish friends out there, if you're watching this and you have any influence on the immigration, push them to make it easy for us to stay, because all we're doing is bringing joy and spending money in Turkey, and we would love to do that.
Muddy Kitty says, completely understand, I had to jump through hoops to live here in the USA back in 2005.
Yeah, and this isn't to live here. We're only asking to sort of stay a bit longer. We wanted to see a bit more of Turkey than this street, you know.
Well, we came to Turkey to explore it.
And we sort of took a week to sort of get ourselves settled into Turkey, not doing too much, just exploring the local neighbourhood. And then suddenly we were sort of slapped and said, don't go anywhere. You'll stay there. So
you also said the people of Turkey are amazing.
Mm.
And if you have an email,
people everywhere in the world are amazing, to be honest. And I find that the one beautiful thing when you travel around the world are the people. And regardless of what, you know, the politics and all the other stuff that's going on, people are genuinely lovely. And my experience so far of the Turkish people has been superb. I like it here.
Yeah.
It would be an easy place to live, for sure. But I'd get fat with all this bread, or fatter. I would have a balcony. I would have a balcony that Rapunzel could toss her hair down from. I think was she on a balcony? No, that was Juliet, wasn't it?
Oh, Juliet. The balcony. No, yes.
Yeah. I'd have a balcony that several people could sit and watch an opera on.
And Willie Kitty says, if you have an email, I can contact you and I will send you my future son-in-law's music channel. He also has Friday night shows online to soothe those in quarantine. You will love it. Okay, well, on my YouTube channel, there's an email address on the about part of my YouTube channel, and you're welcome to get in touch with us there. Be patient. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to emails, but you could certainly drop us a line there. Joseph says, are you a fan of FS? That's that beer.
Yes, I've had a few of the FS beers. I don't drink a lot of beer, but when I do, I find the Turkish beers to be quite pleasant.
So Barris says, balcony is also called Turkish muscle.
Yes, the Turkish muscle. For those of you that don't know, in my video yesterday, my neighbour made a comment. He's a younger lad, he's 29, and he's got a little bit of a stomach. And I said to him, you've got to be careful, you're eating too much bread. And he said to me, we have a saying in Turkey that a man without a balcony is not a man. And he was pointing down to his stomach. So he calls the pot belly, as we would say, that's his balcony. So a man without a balcony is not a man. And I said, well, that's good. I like that.
So Ben says, if there was one country or island you had to live on for the rest of your life, which one would you pick out of all the countries, islands you visited, Steve? He's gone quiet.
I would be probably, to be honest, Ben, I think I'd be a little depressed. I'm a traveller at heart, and to be stuck in the most beautiful island. Imagine an island that had the weather of where I used to live in the Sunshine Coast, gorgeous weather. You know, Australia is a great place to be. It truly is one of the best countries in the world. But there are equally many countries that equal Australia's beauty. Turkey, for instance, has so much going for it. So I could say almost any country that would make me happy, but I wouldn't be happy stuck on an island or even in one place, because I have something in my in my psyche, in my soul, that needs to be moving. And I would get probably 7 years on. I think I'd probably get really, really down. And that wouldn't be good. So that answers that one, Ben. I can't. That place does not exist. It would have to be an island that moved. It would be the Great Atuan. It would be, the Discworld novels. If you ever read any of the Discworld novels, it would have to be an island that moved.
Woody says, I hear India is pretty amazing.
India's great. I mean, we've been 4 months in India before we came to Turkey. India is amazing. The people, again, are fantastic. We had a wonderful time there. There are a lot of things I didn't like about parts of India and lots of things I loved about India. So, there are highs and lows in many countries. Some places have more highs than lows. The food is great. The people are wonderful. Japan was wonderful. South Korea. Where have we been recently, Michelle? Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, China. You see, China was, a lot of people, are down on China at the moment. I think is a beautiful country. There are parts of China that are not that pleasant, but China itself.
We visited such a small part of China.
I've got a poppy seed stuck in my teeth. Excuse me.
Didn't we? It was such a small part.
Yeah, we've only done. China is so big, and we've only been to a tiny part of it. So, but it was great. So there are so many great places, and that's the problem. I think I would be absolutely. I don't like to use the word depressed, but it would trouble me greatly not to be able to move.
Somebody says you were there when the virus was happening. Yes.
Yeah, I bought that here actually. That's the virus. I popped that. I got a big slice of coronavirus, and I've Hansel and Gretel, I've been trickling it out as I've travelled around the world.
And we were right over the other side of the country.
We were in China last year, and now it was before the coronavirus, and actually the area we were in China, I don't think has even been barely touched by the coronavirus. It's a very different part of the world. It's a big country.
Ben said you didn't buy it from Tesco, Steve.
I would only get it from I get my Corona from Tesco's when it's half price, Ben. So I think recently it's been full price. No, I haven't been able to grab hold of any. So if you hear of anything comes through on the old coupons, let me know and I'll be there. So, are there any other questions? Michelle's going to scroll up the page and check, but if you have a question that I didn't answer, you could always throw it there again, because...
Tolga says, Steve, Michelle, visit Azerbaijan, Baku, Sheki, wonderful places, kitchen, warm people.
Do you know Azerbaijan?
Yeah.
One of our plans this year, which didn't come to fruition, and it's always difficult when you want to do something dearly and you don't get to do it, because it then ends up stuck on your bucket list. We wanted to travel from Beijing to Europe on the not on the Orient Express, the Trans-Siberian Railway, and in order to do that, we would have had to go through Mongolia, and we were talking about stopping and doing a lot of those regions, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, and we didn't do it. So it's a regret that I will have to heal one day.
Marina says your Korea vlog was inspiring. I never thought it was in there before watching that.
Korea was wonderful.
Surprised us. It was completely. I don't know what I expected it to have.
Korea and Japan were two places that we went to that were so different to what we could imagine they'd be like, and even more so for Korea, because I really hadn't.
We did that on the spur of the moment.
Korea was one of those places we didn't plan to go, and we ended up going to. Rena, we were in Austria. We were just talking about that. One of Ben's favourite videos of ours isn't actually on our channel. It's on another channel. Maybe Michelle, maybe Ben might put it there, or Michelle. See who gets there first. Race. Was walking in the hills in Austria, and I love Austria. I've got a great fondness for Austria. I've been there as a child many times before. Is that Ben got it there already?
Probably.
Wow.
Has he got it bookmarked?
And that video, if Ben, did you get that quickly? My gosh, you're quick.
I hadn't even started to look, and I've got slow internet.
So you can have a look at that when you get a chance, Rena. We spent a little bit of time in Austria, one of my favourite countries in Europe, along so many other parts of that part of the world, you know, from the Bavarian mountains to the Schwarzwald in Germany.
Tammy's got to go and have her supper.
Tammy's come back and check the rant out. I think it's about 1 hour in, maybe, and unless I delete it. So, and that was on our drive down to Sicilia, which was, we went down through Italy. And sadly, that was back in the days, Rena, when we were so busy concentrating and still doing cooking videos that we never did a lot of filming videos. And consequently, there are some beautiful places we visited that we didn't really film in, and I always regret it. So we'll have to do it again one day.
So Barrett is saying, what about going to Kadaboy Asian side tomorrow morning? I can guide and drive you with this side of Istanbul.
Thank you, Barris, but I can't tomorrow. This next few days we've got quite a lot planned. I've got to go and see somebody about my microphones. We've got a couple of meetings with some friends and things. Look, just keep in touch, and we'll try and sort something out. Thank you very much.
So John says, sorry, I have asked already. How long did you plan on being away from Australia, and has that plan changed?
We left Australia 5 years ago last month, and we've been traveling for 5 years. We do go back occasionally for a month or so to visit family, and we've been pretty much traveling for 5 years, and there's no plan to stop the traveling. So there we go.
Paul says, I like the video in Japan where you unknowingly checked into a hotel that catered to a certain clientele. Yes, that was funny.
That was funny, Paul. That was we stayed in a sex hotel in Japan. For those of you that haven't seen that one, I think that was quite interesting. That was my fault. I don't think we don't often get chance to we don't get chance to do a lot of thinking when we're traveling, you know, South Korea, Japan, yada yada, and that was, I think, Fukuoka, Osaka, and sometimes we'll go online and book hotels, and I think this one was called something with hearts in it. It wasn't specifically called, it wasn't obviously a love hotel, but the room was really gorgeous, and I think I booked it when we were staying in, if you remember, the Capsule Hotel. So I was probably in the Capsule Hotel. I'm making excuses for myself now. I'm in the Capsule Hotel trying to work out where we're going next, and that's how close to the cusp we often did things when we were traveling. And this place came up very cheap and had breakfast delivered to your room, and it was just, the room looked really cool. It had a big bed, it had a big jacuzzi bath in it. Well, when Michelle and I arrived there, God, my Lord, it was
we couldn't check in till 8 o'clock.
No, we got there, and it was like we walked in through. We got to this building, and it's got love hearts all over the building. It's like something out of a sort of cheap porno, to want of another word. I don't know. It was just as tacky could be. The doors opened, doors slid open, and it was pitch black. You couldn't even see. You looked inside. It was like the doors opened to your hotel. It was pitch black. So we looked inside, and I thought, oh my Lord. So we went. We're not shy of any sort of nonsense. So we went inside. We had a reservation. Went inside, and it was all dark, and there was music, like mood music, and there were people sat in the lobby in little alcoves. You couldn't see them because your eyes hadn't adjusted from the outside. You come in and you go like trying to close your eyes to see and open them to see if you can find your way up the steps. And I tell you, this was the loveliest hotel. It was so nice. The people we stayed there with. These are called love hotels in Japan, and we know all about them now. And I'd stay there again in a flinch. It had a massaging chair. The girls were so sweet. We actually stayed there again on the way out. We stayed there again at the same place, and but most people only stay there for a short time.
So Ben says sex hotel or not, whether the room price is cheap.
Ben, of course they were, man. What do you think I was staying at? It was like, Ben, it was like in Japan, you know, this was the thing. Japanese hotels are quite expensive, you know,
And quite small, the rooms,
and tiny little rooms. And they can be quite a few $100s for a night. So when I found this hotel that had what looked to be a very big room with a huge bathroom, and it was something like, I think, Ben, if I recall correctly, $40-50 a night.
Yeah, it was.
I put it up in the detail, and that was really cheap.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was just called something like I don't know, love, you know.
You could spot it when we were walking around.
Oh yeah, you could watch. Well, it had a big love heart on the roof, the size of sort of like Nelson's column. It was just this great big pink glowing heart, if I remember, on the roof. And this whole neighborhood that we were in was absolutely packed with these places, these love hotels. So there were all these sort of like people sheepishly sort of, well, they're not actually that sheepish, but there's sort of people booking in and out of these hotels. Sometimes they're only booking the room for sort of like, you know, 2 hours, and you get this old fella going in there, sort of a 70-year-old bloke with this young girl pulling up to this. Actually, no, it wasn't. Now, it wasn't like that. That would be more sort of your Thailand sort of thing. Now, they were quite often older couples, but you quite often thought, I wonder if they're actually a couple or whether it's a girlfriend boyfriend have met and they're sort of like in their 70s going to the love hotel. But we had a whale of a time there, and I don't mean that we had a whale of a time there, but I mean we had a great time there because I don't know if any of you have seen the video, but in the morning time, when you get up, they bring you breakfast at your chosen time, and there's a little hole in the wall. It's like a prison cell, but it's a little hole, flap that drops down, and a little girl comes shuffling down the hallway, and she drops your breakfast through the hatch so not to disturb you, because obviously Michelle and I are in there editing videos. You know,
we have the camera out ready to film the
first time. So you know, everybody else is sort of having amorous weekends in these places. We're sat in there trying to sort of edit videos, you know, keep the noise down. And this little tray of food would come in, and you take it in, and we had a big room. It was a huge room. It was the size of about 8 normal, spotlessly clean,
yeah.
lovely, big soft double bed. But some of them subsequently we found are much more. Some of them have like, did they have a vibrating bed or something? I can't remember. There's some strange.
They're all different.
Some of them have like these sort of vibrating beds and sort of, you know.
We check out how fun the room is. We quite liked our room, didn't we?
Our room was good.
Yeah, we didn't have a view. That was it.
The only thing, the window looks out onto nothing. But I don't think people went there for the view. I highly recommend, if you actually go to Japan, check out staying in the Love Hotel. Don't bother staying in a capsule hotel. No. That was a nightmare. We stayed in the capsule hotel. Michelle, you can put that video up as well if you want. Yeah. That was uncomfortable for me, but it was a lot of fun. I would do it again. I would do it in a flinch because it was well worth doing, but I didn't get any sleep. It was so noisy, snoring and farting, and
mine wasn't noisy, but it was claustrophobic and hot, and
wasn't good.
Wasn't the best. Ben said he found it walking in Austria because he typed in "walking in" his history, and it popped up in his history. That's why. Very quick
draw.
One of his favourites, aside from it being a top quality video.
What was the biggest mistake we made in Turkey? We haven't made any mistakes yet. I suppose coming here wasn't no, that's not fair. We haven't really made any big mistakes. We haven't been able to do anything. Have we had any funny little things? Let me think about that and see if I can come up with any
you had flu, didn't you, when we first arrived?
Unusual things. No, I can't think of anything. So
but he says Africa. Have you been? I'm relatively new to your channel.
No, I haven't been to Africa yet. We don't have any urgent plans to go to Africa. You know, when I was a younger, Africa wasn't ever a place that really ever appealed to me, and I don't think I've ever got that out of my system. Though I have quite a few friends in Africa, and we've had, and I love African food, but I have no. It's not high on my list of places to visit, and I'm not sure why. I can't think of a country particularly. Maybe Kenya, because Michelle's family has some time when she was younger that they were in Kenya, but no, not yet. And I know a lot of people are desperately passionate about Africa. It doesn't do a lot for me at the moment.
Mario Cat said, "What did you think about Turkey? What did you think Turkey would be like before coming here?"
We didn't really think anything about it before coming here, because this is what I don't think people quite understand how Michelle and I travel. We don't give a massive amount of thought to places that we're going to. 1 month before we came to Turkey, we hadn't even considered coming to Turkey. And that's much the same. I mean, I think actually India was a place that we did plan, because we knew we were going to be there for some time and it's a big country to visit. But no, we don't tend to overly think things. Now, we only decided to come to Turkey at very short notice, and I just was excited to see what a new country that I hadn't been to before. So I know it sounds crazy, but we just don't, you know, when we went to Korea, we turned up in sort of flip-flops, and I say flip-flops, Australia we call it thongs, but I know most of you call it flip-flops. So we rocked up in flip-flops and t-shirts. It was darn freezing. We didn't expect it to be so cold. You awake over there?
Yeah, we just do a little bit of
Pay attention.
That's all right. Yeah, don't call flip-flops thongs in the UK, lol.
I know. That's why I call it. I've kind of, as a travel bend, because we call them thongs in Australia, and I know that thongs are a certain, you know, love hotel accessory. You always got to be a little careful. Thongs, mate.
Yeah, get your thongs on.
Got your thongs on. Nothing like a guy in thongs.
Or in the States.
Or in the States. Oh no, what do you call flip-flops in the States? Probably flip-flops. So, yes, the Love Hotel accessory. Look, we're up to 2 hours again. About 2 hours, I like to start to think about calling this a night, because
it's 1:30 in the morning.
It's 1:30 in the morning here.
Well, that matters.
It doesn't matter too much. I could talk for ages, but I think unless we've got any sort of emotive questions that are going to get me rolling for another sort of 10 or 15 minutes, I think I probably should let you guys get off and do your own thing. Thank you again for joining me. It's always a pleasure. And take care of yourself wherever you are. Forgive me my little rant earlier on. Are we good, Michelle?
We're good.
Any questions that I missed?
No, Ben, we're going to be quiet on that. Yes, Paul said to call them flip-flops in the States, thongs up in the Love Hotel.
Okay. Well, we had our thongs on in the Love Hotel. If that's any,
we
if
were
that's
both wearing our thongs, weren't
yeah,
we?
both wearing our thongs. A little bit tight between the toes, but that can happen when your feet get hot. All right, take care. Love to you all. Love to you all. We'll see you again next time. We'll hopefully have a video for tomorrow. We're still trying to keep that schedule up, and I might do another live show again very shortly, because I've got the data back. Be good. Take care. Coming over to say goodbye to everyone.
I've got to move. I've got to run over. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Love you lots. See you next time.